Okay, so like, who would you say this video is like actually for?
Someone who's using Dia, but
Yeah.
maybe feels like they aren't harnessing its full power. They still feel like they're missing something, or they feel like they could get more out of Dia. I feel like this video is for them. Dia is a simple product. It's a browser that lets you chat with your tabs. But just beneath the simplicity is some immense power. How do you unlock it? Over the past couple months, we've spoken with a few of the many thousands of students alpha testing Dia, paying attention to those squeezing the most out of the product. Our learnings from these students are informing where Dia goes next. This video shares some of what we found. Here's a report of the most powerful Dia hacks as discovered by our student alpha testing community. So Dia is a browser that lets you chat with your tabs, and at the heart of this is a feature called app mentions. I've used all the different AI tools, and app mentions are just the fastest way to bring context into a chat. So let me show you. So just to give a basic example, let's say we have this fig jam here, and I want to do a very classic LLM task like summarizing the key points. In Dia, I can just say summarize, app mention, the tab, and hit enter. And without copying, pasting, or uploading screenshots, Dia just does that for me. So this is Franco. He's a sophomore at UCLA and outside of classes runs an apparel business called Bruin Bearwear.
I want to write an email to my team, so I want to update everyone and let them know the status of everyone else's projects.
In Dia, he realized he could complete this task without ever leaving his email page. And he has all this information in his browser, but it's scattered across different tabs, and it's, in his words, it's really disorganized.
This is the pre-orders that we had. We have a master calendar, and then of course we have kind of like a logistics document.
So just by using a combination of the app mentions and Dia's drafting capabilities, Dia could write a first draft of that email for him.
I'll be in my inbox, I'll open the chat with Command E, and then of course I'll mention the logistics master doc, I'll mention the accounting doc, I'll mention the master calendar, and then of course the pre-order form. So from there, those are the 4 tabs that I've shown. I basically said I'm drafting a message, acknowledge everyone's work, and then let's kind of sync everyone up and catch everyone up. I like how for starters, I actually think this isn't too like artificial. Usually I feel like it'd be a lot more fluff from an AI, but this is pretty good. Inventory is on track. I like that it includes numbers. This is actually really nice.
And then you could see Franco just clicked insert and the email went right into his email compose box. Yeah, I mean, this is basically Dia at its best. You're writing an email, you want to bring in context to draft it. Why should you ever have to leave that page to do so? In Dia, you can do that all without leaving your tab. More and more while I've been using Dia, I find myself in a situation where I'm really like, I don't want to do this. I just ask, can Dia do this for me without me ever having to leave the tab? And honestly, the answer is often yes. Another classic Dia situation is when you have a bunch of open tabs, like 5 or 10 or even 15, and you need to compare or synthesize them or do something like that. So this is Anthony. He's a film and television student at Quinnipiac.
So I'm incredibly stressed out with finals. I mean, I also have ADHD, so it's very difficult. It's pretty fascinating because using Dia has really helped me through that process.
And he talked to us about how he used Dia to create a kind of semester overview of all his assignments.
Each class has the assignments listed in there, and it's great, but it's really difficult when you take a lot of class like I do.
He had his assignments spread across 6 PDFs, 1 for each class. Basically in Dia, all he had to do was mention those and then ask Dia to create a single document that basically synthesized week by week what he had to do, which is really cool to see.
What I asked Dia was I said, make a Notion list for each class, listing every assignment, deadline as a single checkbox. And so I click at, and then open tabs. Even if you don't check it off each week, you still have every assignment that is there. You could add deadlines in Notion to keep reminding you.
Also, I think, yeah, here it is. In the Slack, he shared a use case where recently he had an open notes test, and he used the app mentions to synthesize information from 6 PowerPoints, I think it was, into one study guide, which was also really cool to see. Inspired by Anthony, I've been chatting with all my tabs a lot more, actually. An example I liked for this is from Cyrus, who's behind the camera. Here, Cyrus, here, say hi. So Cyrus kind of is obsessed with used car, kind of has this like crazy obsession with used car. He was recently shopping for a used car, but it's really hard to kind of compare the details really quickly. So in Dia, what you can do is say @ and then mention all the tabs, and then say, I'm looking for a used car under 15K, all-wheel drive for both cities and road trips. So Dia will read all these tabs and create this table comparison for us. So for example, anything with an X, I can kind of quickly eliminate. Okay, these first 2 options look pretty good. So let me just put these 2 RAV4s in a split view here. They actually look pretty similar to me. I don't know much about cars. They kind of look the same. So let's actually ask Dia, what is even the diff between these? And in split view, Dia is able to read the context of both pages at once. So it's basically the trim. One is sportier and one is more just the base model. I guess the trim is how it looks. I don't even know that much about cars, but it seems like, I don't know, I feel like a sporty guy, so I might go for the sport model here. I actually love using chat with split view in Dia. I kind of think that that should be a hack on its own, but that got vetoed, and we just don't have time for that. So let's move on to the next one. This next one is actually one of my favorites. Dia's ability to pull in context is obviously helpful for, productivity and saving your time, but that's obviously not the only thing it's good for, or the only thing people want to do with LLMs. And I think this one's a good example of that. So Kristen is a student at Carnegie Mellon. And Kristen spoke with us about how she uses Dia to sometimes ask what Final Fantasy character class she might be put in.
Just because of like the nature of fans, there's a lot of people who like want to put themselves in like these like nice little boxes. So you get all sorts of personality quizzes, but like I think in the past it's always been like, let's open up a tab, like let's do like a whole bunch of like Reddit surfing, let's like type in Google.
Obviously, this is something you can do theoretically in any LLM, but in Dia, it's so easy to pull in your browsing context. So for example, in this case, her Spotify, her shopping tab, Dia is able to give an answer that's more personalized to her and feels slightly more real.
So I asked Dia, based on open tabs, can you give me a player card that is based on Final Fantasy player classes that I can add open tab? I think that's really cool that it like talks about like my MBTI and like my Hogwarts notes, because I didn't mention it in the prompt, but it remembered from like past inputs. I like what I've been doing, so that's really cool. I mean, that's actually really cool.
I used to use Claude a lot. I still use it like sometimes, but I honestly have been finding myself turn to Dia more and more for this kind of thing, solely because it's so easy to bring in the context and it's so annoying to bring it to another app. So for example, I got this message from, very surprising message from Cyrus last night, that he said he thought the video we're shooting right now is gonna be really bad. I don't know why you said that, Cyrus. It was kind of a crazy message to get the night before the shoot. So I was gonna send back something really mean to Cyrus, but I thought I'd just take a step back and have Dia help me draft something thoughtful. So right where I am able to bring out the chat window and say, help me draft a thoughtful message to Cyrus about why this video is actually going to be quite epic. At all my tabs are about the project context. So again, Dia knows everything about the project that we're talking about. I don't have to tell it like, oh, we're actually making a video about Dia hacks and the best way. I don't have to say any of that. But as you can see here, Dia has helped draft something that's very thoughtful and actually is about the project we're on. Insert this to Cyrus and I can send it back. And hopefully this will just get him in a better mood going into the shoot. And this is the kind of thing I've been turning to Dia for. Okay, let's go. So as our final hack of the day, I'm actually really excited about this one because it emerged really organically from the student community, and it's really hacky, but I kind of love that because I think it really represents the early alpha stage Dia is in right now. So in Dia, you can personalize how Dia talks to you, but students, as always, are taking it further in ways we never expected. So this is Harry. He's a student at Bentley, and he basically realized you could use this personalization pane to create these custom shortcuts for things he was doing every day.
Overall, I want to say like maybe I save like 30 minutes just typing prompts every day. So that adds up to a lot.
So Harry set up his Dias so that he could just type the words sum and Dia would know to summarize whatever he was looking at. Or he could type pros, cons, and Dia would know to give the pros and cons of whatever topic was on the page.
One of the things I like to do is read financial news and also just business news every morning. So for example, this article from NPR about Trump's plan for movie tariffs. So one of the things I like to do is summarize, just to summarize the entire article, so I know what the key takeaways are. But kind of building on from there, I think it's really important to understand the bias and also the pros cons. So this is one of the commands I also use. This has been able to really save a lot of time for me.
I was so inspired by Harry's use case that I actually just stole it straight up for myself, but I made my own commands. So here you see I'm on a restaurant page, and in my Dia, if I type the word yum, I've personalized Dia so that it knows to go read the publications I trust the most and give me a summary of reviews from those restaurants. I can also just type YT, and I've personalized Dia so that it knows to just bring in a YouTube video for me to watch. So this is actually my favorite Dia hack because it emerged organically. So I actually think it was Zaki who initially posted the idea, and then Harry, who you just heard from, he kind of ran with it. I've been stealing some of Harry's commands. I think to this day, different students are in the thread sharing their prompts, so that's just been really cool to see. Look, the truth is, Dia is a pretty simple product. There's a few buttons, a few things to learn, but it's not that hard to pick up. That's by design. So learning how to master Dia or like learn these Dia hacks is not about learning new features. It's learning how to apply these features to your life. I've learned so much from these students about how to improve my Dia usage in my life, and a lot of their insights are really driving our product team and where Dia is going next. I hope this video is helpful for people, and we're just really excited to get Dia in the hands of more people very soon. I think it's gonna be good. What do you think? Okay. All right, let's go.